I've been talking a lot yesterday and again today about the treatment of Kimberley Kitching. Now, she was on our program during the very week that she passed away. She passed away last Thursday from a heart attack. It's a very, very sad story, and we had an emotional Bill Shorten on the program on the following day. Now, it has emerged that a number of her close colleagues, including former federal MP Michael Danby, believe that stress related to her pre-selection may in fact have contributed to part of the health issues that she had. No one can prove that beyond any doubt. However, I'm sure her husband, Andrew Landieu, will have talked to her about it. We just spoke to Pauline Hanson, and Pauline Hanson has fired up on Anthony Albanese and said he doesn't deserve to lead the country if he can't manage his own internal politics in his party, where he has what has been described as mean girls bullying one of their own, including agitating for her not to be pre-selected. It can be and is a very nasty business sometimes, politics. The federal Liberal MP for Mackellar, not nasty at all, is Jason Falinski, joins us on the line on a regular basis. G'day.
Thanks, Steve. I'm going to put that on my tombstone. Thank you very much.
That's my pleasure. Can I, just before I get on to the Mean Girls issue and whether Labor, who throws rocks at the government all the time over bullying allegations, I'll just ask you about Vladimir Zelensky as opposed to Falinski. What an inspirational man he is.
Mate, he's, cometh the moment, cometh the man, or person, I should say. And he has really risen to the occasion. It's the sort of leadership that people want. I'm sure he's not a perfect person, but in its time of need, the Ukraine, and can I be quite frank about this, the West has found exactly the leader it needs, because what is under attack here is not just the Ukraine, it's the very values and systems that we have put in place to ensure peace and prosperity throughout the world. And we are just very lucky that at this moment of need, Mr. Zelensky stood up to the plate.
The speech he made overnight invoking Pearl Harbor, September 11, the fact that there are missiles raining down on his country, all of this done knowing he knows that at any moment the Russians can take him out. I mean, it's just extraordinary. And you're right. I mean, when people are sometimes put into an absolutely murderous, dire situation like this, their true character comes out. You know, people in the past were laughing that a former stand-up comedian could end up being president of a country, but he's shown, particularly with his messages that he gets out, whether it's to the Commons or the Congress, that he knows exactly what buttons to push to get the help he needs.
No one's laughing now, Steve. And you look at the body language, I've got to say, of Mr. Zelensky and President Putin, and it is very clear who's under the most stress. So, It is a testament to the person who is leading their country. Ukrainians, in one sense, are very lucky that he is there at this time.
What's the background of your surname?
Falinski? Oh, well, we don't have enough time, but essentially, my grandfather was Jewish, and he, when the Germans invaded Poland, he went to the Russian side because he had an engineering degree. He was co-opted into the Red Army in Khrushchev's garrisons, who were rebuilding the armaments in the east of the Urals. Then in 1949, Stalin told everyone to go back home. By that stage, he'd met his wife, and my father had been born, and they went back to Poland. When he returned to Poland, Krakow specifically, one of his friends who employed him in the largest factory in Krakow, which was a factory that made housing for people. And after the war, there was a huge demand for housing. Said, look, in order to smooth the way for you to get a job, it would be better if you had a less Jewish-sounding name. So he changed his name to Falinski. But, of course, the Jewish community in Krakow had all changed their name to Falinski. So years later, when I was going to Israel, it must be 25 years ago, and you went there on El Al, and there was sort of the security check, and then there was the Mossad security check before you checked into El Al. And the Mossad agent said, "Oh, Falinski, do you still practice your Judaism at home and things like that?" I have to say, I was actually brought up Catholic, but my father did. But they were, but it was very funny that everyone changed their name to kind of hide the fact that they were Jewish to a name that became synonymous with Judaism in Poland. So yeah, that's the genesis of my name.
Oh, it's a great backstory, and you must appreciate even more what's unfolding there. Does Anthony Albanese need to properly investigate these allegations about some of his colleagues, including Senator Penny Wong and Senator Christina Keneally?
Yes, he does. I mean, this is the problem with the left, Steve. They only know how to cancel things. So he has a chance to actually cancel the culture of bullying, or he can try and cancel the people making the allegations of bullying. And what we saw yesterday was him have a go at Alison Langdon for using the term Mean Girls, which of course is a very well-known film that was produced by my favourite comic in the world, Tina Fey. Instead of actually dealing with the issue, he wanted to cancel the commentary. And, I would also say to the three people, and I know Katie Gallagher quite well, and I find it hard to believe that she would have been involved in anything like this. And I knew Kimberley Kitching as well, and she was no wallflower either. So I think it is to the benefit of everyone involved if there is a proper investigation so that the truth can come out, because the truth will set you free. But in a moment that called for leadership, and we were just talking about President Falinski, in a moment that called for leadership, instead of actually dealing with the issue, he decided to deal with the people making the allegation. And I don't think that bodes well for the future.
The comment today attributed to Penny Wong, and this was confirmed in a book written by, I think it was Sam Maiden. It may have been Sam Maiden. Anyway, it was written in a book that she suggested in a heated meeting to Kimberley Kitching that you don't understand because you don't have children. I mean, that's just appalling behaviour.
Mate, can you imagine... I'm reticent to say this, but I'm going to. Can you imagine if you or I said that to someone? We would be rightfully condemned for saying that. Why is it okay for some people to say that but not for others? The truth is that is never okay to say that to someone. It is never okay to try and shame someone into submission by humiliation. And I really just don't understand how anyone could make that comment. And look, I say this and say I find it very hard to believe that happened, but I know that the people who are saying those things are people who are both honourable and at all times try to get to the truth. So this is something that deserves to be investigated, not to have people who are calling this sort of stuff out being told, "Oh, you need to sit down and shut up because you're being offensive."
I think Labor might be reluctant to investigate it because a lot more might come out. I'm chasing a story about a text message, which I can't reveal the contents of yet because I've got to make sure that someone who's told me has actually seen it. But if that text message aimed at the conversation was aimed at Kimberley Kitching is correct, then the person who sent it is going to be severely embarrassed. I can't say any more than that, but it would appear that because she was a strong advocate, had strong opinions, was a strong woman, who was sensible enough, I should say, to not only talk to people on her own side of politics, but she had connections on your side of politics, because I gather she believed that that's the way you got things done. Then if you can't have people like that in Parliament, in the Labor Party, they've got a problem. And this is the alternative government. We're 8 weeks out from an election.
In every party, Steve, you've got to have the capacity for people to reach across the aisle. And it's not that she believed that's how you got things done. That's actually how she got things done. I mean, the Magnitsky Act came about because of the working relationship between her and James Patterson, and between her and Maurice Payne. And the story that was printed yesterday by Shari Markson showed that when it became apparent that she was going to succeed, that's when people in the Labor Party decided to get involved. And every organisation has challenges of this nature. But it only gets better if you're open and honest with dealing with them. And this sort of duck and hide stuff that goes on not just in the Labor Party, but in the Greens. And can I also say, we're seeing elements of that from the Climate 200 candidates and their campaigns as well, where if people don't agree with them, then those people just get shouted down, or people go and sit on the middle of major roads and block people trying to get to work. That sort of stuff is not acceptable and is toxic for our public debate and public discourse. And that's not how you build a better community and a better nation.
The biggest problem with the Spit Bridge, Jason, is that they open it up for two old blokes in a yacht. It's got nothing to do with people sitting on the road.
No, Steve, that's not true. It's
three
blokes and a yacht. No, there are definitely three people, I've seen.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, the amount of times I've sat there waiting for one old codger on a yacht to go through while there's 7,000 cars waiting.
Yeah. Can you name another major city in the world where one of its major arterial roads opens 4 to 5 times a day as a drawbridge? I mean, it's absurd.
It is ridiculous. Good to catch up. By the way, you've got a few potholes in your area, I'm told.
Yeah, a lot of potholes in our area, but I think the state government's out there, or the RMS is out there at the moment trying to fill them in. But a couple of people are going to disappear down them very soon, I think. Yeah,
I'd like to own a tyre repair shop in that part of the world at the moment. Thanks for your time. Good luck. Talk soon.
Steve.
Jason Falinski.